Good evening, Zanzibar. This is Deb Helfrich, hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk. This is going to be a lot of fun. (2021). It's a failing civilization, and someone needs to furnish us, all 7.8 billion of us, with life-centric thinking. And I'm concerned we probably need to be saying 7.7 billion, because we just lived through a pandemic. Surely we can start to see that how we got here is not how we want to proceed in the future. So, we get that extra stray hair distracting us all, and let's decide to learn about life-centric thinking and have a little bit of fun with a lot of light bulbs. I'm all about being profound. Laughter is medicine, but light bulbs power mental fitness. That's right. I'm the world's original well-being philosopher, and I can help you help all of us. And not starting from the billionaires trickling down. I'm trying to start with Africa. I mean, that's where we all started, is it not? And pale as I am, Africa's always had my back. And that influence, the true influence of the truth that we're all African ancestrally, that I never got that twisted, is why I ended up as the She Socrates 2021. I'm so smart. How smart are you, Deb? Well, let's see. Turns out I'm the little redheaded girl who grew up to give Sigmund Freud vagina envy. I guarantee I can explain human subconscious better than somebody sitting in an armchair smoking a cigar. I've seen the brain scans. I understand the hurts of beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma. Was it not gamma radiation afflicted our dearly departed Bill Bixby and made him Lou Ferrigno? Turns out, though, it's the gamma brainwaves that helped me save my own life. Now, we're in the point where I'm just like going around the country, dialing up scientists from a payphone because I'm dead broke. Not because anybody thinks I killed anybody, but because the internet is a goddamn Ponzi scheme. Talk about the most confusing thing in the universe. Sitting president incites an insurrection. Some people say, all of it because of his ego. And I mean, that's been the 4 years. But this is about the fact he's trying to avoid going to prison. He's not backing down. He's not stopping. He can't. He must keep them keeping all of us looking there, or else we coming for him. But I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay with Jack and Zook just being like, no more free speech for you. Yes, not for sociopathic dictators. What happened? Does it take 4 years? Did it have to come to this point? It's been so clear for so long. Where have the adults been? I'm on the YouTube suggesting way early this spring it was time for basically only Pelosi to be addressing the nation. Speaker, speak. Them other guys was killing people. Bleachgate, y'all. He just unsubscribed from dealing with the pandemic. That is precisely, he just unsubscribed from the newsletter saying he's supposed to run the country during a pandemic. Unsubscribe. No, it's not okay. To have billionaires, oh my God. Oh my freaking God, no. I got another bit on YouTube holding Elon Musk accountable. I've been so scared of Zook. I've never. I almost did once to try and save my life to join a group to learn a skill to set to tuning forks. But apparently, right from the get-go, I'm not allowed to join because I might be a terrorist and they want my driver's license to join Facebook? All right, y'all hear the beeps? I don't know if you did. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's an interesting one. Coming in from the PGH. It's like midnight. Because it's just short of 9 p.m. on the outside the freaking continental US. I'm pleased to say that I am. Not that necessarily is any more safer. These tiki torch whites, they in amongst us everywhere. And I'm a sensitive, vulnerable little redheaded girl. Grew up in Ohio. I can explain them to you. And the opioid epidemic, while I'm at it, they intertwined. But you gotta, understand that the understanding of it means I'm not fighting them directly. As in, I'm not trying to get assassinated. I'm ready to die to establish racial harmony. Not just by the violence and the mayhem, because that's senseless. It's as senseless as the fact that I truly am putting myself in jeopardy of dying in a financial realm because I have been so ill that nobody will hire me. And I simply do not know. My brain simply has no idea how to make money in this country without harming other people. I don't know how. It's impossible. But beyond even my moral stance, no, when that's the case, when you put truth in your heart into a job search, 0 respondents said no interviews. Decade. Talked to 2 people in 2020, interview-wise. And that was through being a LinkedIn connection. Very first thing comes up, you had to take a drug test. Well, I had no reason to take a drug test. I'll go show you the cannabis I ingest every day. No, I'm not taking a drug test for some company in Florida when I live in Washington State and I'm having medicine. I have a demonstrable disease that is demonstrably having incredible results. But because there's not enough research on our endocannabinoid system, which has been faulty my whole entire life, 50 years. Reason I ended up 333 pounds. Faulty endocannabinoid system. Never got turned on because the Tiki Torch whites didn't love me. In a way, my whole community of origin was numb to emotions. This performance, this. I never heard anyone talk. There was some rage, but otherwise, intelligently debating, going through all of this stuff. It's all intertwined. That was the part. People just pop off and pronounce on something. And then they'll pop off and pronounce on something else. And the two, like, there's no meshing. Like you can't hold both those thoughts at the same time. I'm like a child at 6 years old going, that doesn't compute, y'all. None of this computes. 6 years old, I took a vow to not talk and to not get caught not talking. Nobody ever noticed. Nobody ever noticed that I simply did not talk between first grade and when I left to go to Carnegie Mellon. And then I revoked it. I literally like, okay, well, this is what I've chosen. I achieved it. I would love to know why Carnegie Mellon admitted me. This is one of these things, I mean, perks of being a well-known, prominent philosopher. I would like to, who's executive producing a documentary about my midlife metamorphosis from a polar bear to a giraffe. 333, we down under 200. I don't know. I don't use a scale. It's all based on the clothes. And there's some pictures. And there's videos. There's some proof. But I mean, if you're 333 pounds, truthfully, there ain't going to be all that much proof. That's the truth, Ruth. So look at, I have gotten gorgeous after I turned 50. I have gotten childlike and playful and able to state my own truth. Able to state, yeah, I am smart as a whip. I will, if I don't die from financial stress, induced by a pandemic with a president not doing anything and more people about to die from the effects of financial stress, financial suicide, financial heart attacks, financial cancers. Vaccinate against the virus, but we can't have any collective caring to just start giving people who need the money to live, to stay in their houses, to not be spreading the pandemic or, God forbid, dying because they can't get a job, because the whole economy is it's the transfiguration of capitalism. Because look, back to this. We can't have two guys who have succeeded at capitalism. They know about numbers. They know about tech, but there are people concerns. Till they get life-centric thinking, and they get it, and I approve them, certify them. It's the word. Create a certification for billionaires. That's a ticket. That's why I get on the Improv Lives. I'm a certified the billionaires for life-centric thinking. Now, life-centric thinking is philosophical thinking. At the time when humanity is about to self-extinct in 30 years. I don't know if they even had kids, but if that's ever on the menu, right now they got to start paying a philosopher in more than sweat. I need some money. My spidey sense, my hashtag redheaded She-Hulk, raging heart chakra green with love for all of humanity, came from a toxic mold exposure. There's more of us than you actually know. We opt out of society, which means y'all just keep poisoning yourselves. Nearly all chronic disease, even something like Lyme. Okay, tick bite, I gotcha. There's that. But not everybody who gets bitten by the ticks gets Lyme disease. It's not a one-to-one cause. Lyme disease plus, you've got these whole series of other things that are all ramped up. Chronic inflammation, bad diet, over-exercising in repetitive, stressful ways. Trying to both lose weight and build muscle at the same time. Now the two work in a very dynamic exchange, okay? But if you're trying to take conscious control, we only really take conscious control of our breathing. All the breath work, it's all totally now. Everyone in America, I'm breathing. But it's the brain, It is mental fitness. It is the conscious mental focus on breathing. Because the second your brain goes away, your consciousness goes away. There's a problem there. There's a linguistic problem there. Your mindfulness goes away. I can't explain consciousness to you like this. 20 minutes in. Can I explain consciousness in 3 minutes? I can explain consciousness in one word. Bioelectricity. Yeah. So your subconscious bioelectricity, the second your mind wanders, and it does, almost always. And even these 10,000 hour meditators, the Buddhists in Richie Davidson's lab, they do too. Nowhere near as much as us. I mean, it definitely dialed down. But they just don't have a hissy fit when it happens. Oh yeah, I was thinking about spring. Okay, it's pretty cold here in winter. Hi. All right. I feel like sometimes we don't know how to pause into the silence, to pause into the nothingness. What's the point of all this meditating by yourself? Your little special room or your corner or your, however you do it, your app. Meditating with an app is like an oxymoron. Come on, y'all. Please. But anyway, meditation is the clutch. Okay? And but it's not the destination. It's not overdrive, which is gamma brainwaves. And the gamma brainwaves enable this. How does someone wake up at 50, go, I'm going to experience being lean, even though I've been morbidly obese my entire life, every memory, infancy, toddler, basically toddler, always, in all the pictures. And then I'm like 50, and I'm losing 150 pounds in 15 months. Then y'all shut the motherfucking world down for the virus. Which I 100% support. I supported it being a lot more stringent and a lot more with financial support, by the way. Took my position entirety. But specifically in my case, we hit the point where, that was fixing childhood trauma. I didn't change my diet, exercise, nothing that you've ever heard anyone say about how they lost weight will come out of my mouth. I reinvented a process specific to me because while I was fat, I was made fat when I was a baby, the first year of my life. How am I supposed to use willpower for that? Willpower developed years later. It didn't marinate fully. For 20 years. Don't be telling me to use willpower. Didn't work. It could work until I exhausted myself, or until life got so busy that I couldn't mindfully override how my body was taught to eat in the first year of my life. And this is a nervous system, nervous, autonomic, unable to get to until you start learning the Wim Hof method. I'm down with the breathing. Don't get it twisted. Right? It's the theories that we have about the breathing that we're now having a bunch of real, honest, straight talk about. The theories is wrong. Just like the dog whisperer, that man, Cesar Millan, he had a way with dogs. But the way he went and brought in a theory was not rigorously philosophically valid. Simple as this. Those studies he keeps mentioning about dominance were done on wolves in captivity. You pen up a wild animal and they do not act the way they act when they are free range. That goes for everyone. We know what zoos is like. We know many species really won't reproduce in a zoo. They can't relax. They are not turning on the bump and grind part of their brain because they're stressed the fuck out. They ain't like cage. They need to go on runabout, and boom, there's a fence before they even really get their run on. I'm watching Ms. Eddie Izzard run 26.2 miles every single day. 31 days in January. Just getting on a treadmill because it's lockdown. She doesn't sit for real out in the wild. Running marathons day after day after day, like an entire month. In England, South Africa, around Europe. And we got animals in zoos. Shame on humanity. Absolutely, what the fuck is our problem? So back to the dog whisperer. You pen up a bunch of wolves. They're going to have to make up ways to figure out how to get along. Out in the wild, none of that shit. And we don't even have wolves in North America. Back in the day, was this the 90s? I don't know. When he got started, I think it's late 90s, very early 2000s. It's really only been recently. The wolves, re-territorialized across the Canadian border. Here's a joke for you. Hashtag jokes. We're going to go from profundity. We're going to lighten the tension. Just give you a joke. Others might not lighten the tension. Back in May on Periscope, I did a nice little bit. You know what? The Mexicans going to not just build a wall, they're going to pay for it to keep our toilet paper hoarding, gun buying crazy asses out of their apocalypse ready country. Well, now in 2021, I'm telling you what, them Canadians, they organizing, eh? They sending every chainsawyer down. They trying to let's just cut through the continent. Let's just cut America. Them U.S. of hypocrisy people don't even know that's a whole chain of continents. Let's just cut all them peoples. Let's just we got to cut them loose. Send out all the chainsawers. That's what they're doing up there this winter. Hey, they're like, look it, when things get thawed, let's just all forget about the timber for this year and go chainsaw. We ain't had to deal with the U.S. of hypocrisy no more. They don't do that. We all coming the fuck up. All of us sane people. Like, hello, Canada. Let us in, please. Yeah, we're sick as fuck. I know. Make humanity humane for the first time. That takes evolutionary logic. Foundational principle, hashtag well-being philosophy. Evolutionary logic. Before you even get to something that simple, I make it utterly simple and indisputable. The math of life, 1 + 1 = 3. 9 words. I mean, something's true, it's simple, profound. 1 man + 1 woman = a third baby. This is the truth. Reproduction adds up differently than the math of stuff. All right. And it's just that simple. Life-centric thinking is thinking about life, by which I mean carbon-based life forms, from single-celled amoebas all the way up to us. If we want to save Homo sapiens sapiens from self-extincting somewhere in a 30-year time frame, we're going to have to start making sure that everyone across the globe is getting access to the concept of life-centric thinking. Because it's every decision being made every day in every silo, in every nation, in every, right. This top-down hierarchical bullshit, it's canceled. All of us are life, and all of us require the whole evolutionary spectrum of life. We need the bees, there's nothing to eat. We need the plants. We need the trees. We need the soil. We need the carbon in the soil. We need the whole water cycle to be functioning freely. We need to stop making plastic shit. There's all this disposable, single-use, shipped from China. Basically, you need to manufacture what you need within a certain period, certain. You see what I'm doing? Not a period, but region. Else you got to pay a lot of carbon tax. You want a luxury good sent from, just because it's basically what we have, right? You want Italian shoes, you pay the price because they're artisans actually making a living wage. Every human is an artisan. Every human deserves a living wage. Everyone. I'm tired of this. An adult is an adult is an adult. If you only pay them $15 an hour, you're infanticizing. You are making that person incapable of doing their civic duty. You are setting them up for a cascade of health problems, which sets them up for a cascade of needing of how do you make up the difference? When you get paid $15 an hour, but it takes $40 an hour to maintain a residence in every city on the West Coast, most cities in the country. You got to have insurances, and you got to buy furniture, and you got to pay for this. I mean, you got to pay for. There's nothing going on in America. The whole GDP is people figuring out, they're getting paid well, to figure out how to force you to pay them money. The entire GDP of the US of hypocrisy consists of people getting paid to figure out how to force you to pay them money. And I got tricks, subterfuge, legislation. I mean, that's what the insurance industry does. Make them do that. Then there's the peer pressure, make you do that. Now we've got a whole industry of life coaches selling I don't hate the player. Love me some life coaches as people. But I hate the game, the life coaching game. Now, one of my favorite peoples in the world is the original life coach. The original one. I mean, these things all happen, can spontaneously combust here and there. I don't know that there's like a certification of, photo finishing, photo starting. There's no such thing as photo starting. Except when you're on YouTube Live, I've been photo starting my career. Video, improvisation, stream of consciousness, watching me evolve from 333 pounds. I don't know what I am. I say 190. It's like 150. And that'll give me like 50 more to go. I think I really think from 333 to 133. 200 extra pounds I carried around. No wonder I'm Ms. Inclusivity. Ms. Evolution. Ideas was the only people that would play with me. Books were my only friends. Now, when I got to college, things definitely changed. There was definitely, because I started talking again. There was something about it's been the second I heard Carnegie Mellon. It's like, that's where I'm going. Second I woke up after turning 50, it was like, I don't know what it feels like to be lean. And it's starting to happen. I mean, it really is. The muscularity is coming out. Yeah, so there's a little flubby. No worries. It's all, it's all waiting for the time for the processing. Losing 200 pounds. Sort of. I mean, we're way past twins, almost even to triplets, right? 3 times the size I probably should have been. That's how much insulation it takes for a highly sensitive person to survive in the US of hypocrisy. But we're all doing this, insulating. We're all becoming addicted. None of us have been taught the truth about how astounding human potential is. we really have big brains, and we have not been using them well. And this whole phase of corporate hegemony and billionaire emperors, there's so much wrong with it, okay? But in a nutshell, we've given the people who know how to count and play by the numbers the ability to stop the reproduction of our system, creativity, pleasure, and fun, and keeping life alive. That's what we're here to do. Burning Man, y'all. Seriously. We just not like make it so dusty and deserty. I've always wanted, and it took me a while. It took me thinking about this for maybe like 7 years. Like there should be a in the middle of the winter counter festival, right? More like nice warm beverages and book clubs and breath work. What do you call it? What was the festival? I was thinking I'll have it up here in the Pacific Northwest, middle of winter, because the briskness of it is, we have a very mild winters, all things compared to y'all East Coast people. All them extremes of seasons, sweltering summers, and blizzardy winters. There is a West Coast. Please don't come. Stay where you're at. But the alternative to Burning Man, Foggy Goddess. I think that festival for introverts and HSPs because here's the thing. We opted out of society. People introverted, to people, it is physiological. Please understand that it is. But is it physiological in the sense that as a child, you were sensitive and way overstimulated by some things in your environment. And so all of the rest of your input coming in is like, I'm going to not want too much stimulation. Because just when you were a child and when you really needed to be nurtured and cared for and have an environment that wasn't too much for your body as it was learning to process, that leads to the personality of introvert. I'm certain of it. Now it's complexity incarnate, because I don't know that there's, I can't give you a 5-step post on the internet how to not, because it could be really something simple, like your mom coming home from a smoke-filled meeting with her boss and then trying to feed you. That happens in those early days. You may have an aversion to smoke your entire life. Versus maybe somebody smokes in the house your whole toddlerhood. So in those very first nursing days, that kind of input, the amount that it takes versus what it takes, the more that your lungs develop and your immune system develops and your ability to be outside as much as possible develops. So it's all about that which we cannot know. It informs what's wrong in our lives. Now there's the external world, and there's nothing wrong with being in the process of being, in school learning a craft. There's nothing wrong with being in the process. But I'm saying like wrong in the sense that, you've desired to be a cabaret singer for decades. And you just don't, you just like to say it. You don't have the time or the space or the belief that you're going to try your singing on. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. It ain't warm when he's away. Yeah. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. It's always gone too far. Anytime he goes away. So that's Lisa Fischer and Taylor Eichstein. Basically a year ago, sometime January, February, right before COVID, Sony Hall. Just an incredible, my gosh, Lisa Fischer. Sincere gratitude. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and he's always gone too far. Anytime he goes away, yeah. So, I'll just keep going. Or I might just say this has been enough for tonight. I got this. And what made me pop up, because I was doing my 7:30 to 8:30 evening meditation, going somewhere with it. So I'd left that thread alone. I'm talking just as I'm an advanced anti-racist, I'm an advanced meditation is the clutch to then shift your own brainwaves, beta, alpha, theta, and then there's like this like crazy, maybe like hold the clutch down, pull up the lever, and into gamma brainwaves. Gamma brainwaves. They are what we now like to call flow. Is gamma brainwaves. Gamma brainwaves represent what we call an altered state of consciousness. A spiritual awakening counts, but so does a writer of any kind, even like a journalist covering an insurrection. If they're in flow, if those feels like the muse, they're just like, this can't be happening, and they're just all of everything just coming through. You're not in perfectionist, hypercritical, editor, what everyone gonna think. I got to please Aunt Betty. I don't want to upset my neighbor Joe. It's the socialization, the acculturation. That's what slows us down, right? But in flow, you're just being who you are. It's me right here. Stream of consciousness, improv, stand-up philosophy. Although Stand up to me is the shortcut for a career of truth tellers. The more accurate description of my own work is sit down Socratic monologues. Of course, I'm on a yoke ball. And if I had better recording equipment, I'd do a little move around. I got the women are from Venus, men can fucking not go to Mars bit. Show a little bit of my embodiment. The embodiment is just there. I ain't need to practice the embodiment. I need to get the body evaporating excess weight so that we can embody like, what? Nanu, nanu. I had not noticed, and I notice everything. I'm a real good noticer. You think Sherlock, he got me out in the world. What I am the she Sherlock of is homeodynamic balance. Me and my body. Tell me something about human health, and I got something different to say about it. I want to because the whole paradigm is missing bioelectricity. Start to understand bioelectricity. It's like there's just nothing that don't make sense anywhere in the universe. Humans are part of the universe. There's a law, and it's accurate. It applies to humans. Forces are forces are forces. Biomechanical, we know, moving a body around, right? And postural integrity. Biochemical, and then we got all that. Why are we like ignoring bioelectricity? Why are we debating it? Because the men haven't built tools to measure it. This is the thing. The men start putting their belief in the tools. Well, this tool measures this, and it's saying that no, but we're not talking about the same situation. Your tool was built to do a hammer, and I'm over here trying to talk about human potential. You can keep pounding that nail in, but I'm trying to talk about artistic flow. I'm trying to talk about being so certain that you, in your essence, want to offer good to the world. You can just do this now. Soon as you're all cleared of the gunk of acculturation that makes you not love yourself, not know that you're doing the best you can, not knowing that you deserve to be a superstar in whatever it is that lights you up. Making furniture, being a carpenter is cool. It's the acculturation of like, you're only worthy if you're a celebrity. I mean, Warhol has come true. We all got our 15 minutes. We all got the tools of technology. Even if it's just 15 minutes of fame with our damn self, we got the capacity. I have been thinking, this is a total tangent. Let's just go Truman Show. Let's just turn this motherfucker on and not turn it off. Let's just watch the weight evaporate. But there's so much sleeping. That's the problem. It's just me, myself, and I in my batshit cave. And it requires a lot of sleeping. About to go on a suggested 18-day fast since we got that done in November. And what's going on now here? We had to rest through December. Body sort of needed all the calories to process everything that happened. Now the body is just like shaping up every day. And I'm scared of running out of calories. I'm dead broke. So fasting works in that dimension as well. Then immediately, there's only like 3 people in the world or so that know this. Definitely no more than this. And that would be like talking about it coming to fruition over this whole pandemic. Nowhere near 10 people know though. It's always like, well, go to the food bank. On so many levels, that's not the answer. And instead of listening to me when that happens, people become upset and turn their anger at me or fear. I'm the one with the problem, but they send their fear at me. It's like, well, if you don't want my advice, then don't talk about it. And I want to keep going. I want to keep, there'll be better options. As in, I just want to earn money for this world-class precious work that I can do. And help me do that. But I am avoiding that until absolutely, positively, entirely necessary, because I do have enough onboard nutrition. So I manage it. So I'm filter it through and I circulate. Okay. Coming back now. This is an advanced feature. How much do I play with the embodiment of the pauses? Yeah, I'm making myself happy in all ways right now. Having a date with myself on a Friday night, locked down, home alone. I'm sleeping and I can't get up in Seattle. Yeah, I hibernate. Part of the thing is when you're going through calorie restriction for a long time. You know, it's 15 months of losing 10 pounds. And then at that point, so much of the just fat came down, and there was a real point when my body, over the summer, especially into the fall, when it was time to stock in the calories for the long winter, fruit-wise, and just if there's calories available, put them in, because we know it's going to be winter soon. Sort of, the phrase we'd commonly use is plateau. But that's, again, we're always looking at things like the body just works like a machine. But it's always cyclical. So in the heat of the summer, it makes sense to just conserve calories a little bit. And then comes the bumper crop of September. And we're going to want to have, apples and apples and apples from the trees. And then in winter, we're going to start sleeping a lot. Just living off of what we've stored in the pantries. And in ancient times, the only pantry we had was on our body. Migration is the word that disrupts everything we're getting wrong about weight loss. Then dialing in to eating being the first thing every human learns. Yes, indeed. You're going to just be breathing. There's no, you just evacuate. But there's a little skill to eating. There's some sucking. There is some, I have no idea, personally, how to be getting milk out of a breast. I don't know what that's about. I don't really. Now, I was not breastfed as a baby. So maybe this is just such a I don't know. I mean, I'm just even thinking I don't know. That's not an experience a human should actually continue living through. Is the tools of modern nutrition, the packaged shelf stableness. Is it like a straw? I mean, I'm literally thinking about the mechanics of it. Does it seem to me it's not the mechanism, but that's literally the only mechanism I know to suck things into my mouth. Strawness. Friday night controversy, eh? Did not see that coming. That's the first time I've ever actually went anywhere near that bit. But it's the truth, is that we've now enabled so many humans to have a shot at life without some of the basic underlying foundational principles. I wasn't touched for the first 17 years of my life. Not in any conscious way. And there was no there's some, really cold, incidental was there. But I mean, it just wasn't, my parents weren't fully embodied. I don't recall seeing my mom on the floor, sitting on the floor, ever. Playing with me on the floor, reading a book to me. The only memory I have is of my mom on her hands and knees scrubbing the kitchen floor. I mean, this is absurdness to me. I didn't notice it until I'm now searching through. So, but once or twice, I'm sure, occasionally, she must have. I mean, maybe I just didn't hashtag it. My father, yes, up to a certain point when his job and his back parted ways. And he would lay on the floor. But not my mom, not ever. I don't think, still nearly 52, I do not know how to get up off of the floor except like a toddler. My bum comes up first, and I'm always, my head, I'm looking down, and my head stays close to the floor, which is what you do when you're a young person so that you don't hurt your head. I can't get up. And somebody would, even just last year, had like give me a hand just to like pull me up. No, I got to hold on. I got to go first. I can't just come up. I don't have the mental, like it's like the mental plumbing doesn't exist to do certain things like that. The muscles are starting to be, and what happens is I confront these things. So, typically you'll get up and down on one side, or, you'll be very one side dominant. And I've been constantly working to make sure been playing with my fingers. The fourth finger is kind of benty, and I'm playing with it because it's basically it's a tightness in a muscle somewhere, and they didn't function very well. These really didn't have much feeling, and I've been playing with them and doing this, and you can hear like like creaking your knees. I can hear just a little bit, and it is on the outer part of my wrist. So there's just this constraint there. It's not on the side. So, I mean, I think again, any way to, and they look about equivalent. Anywho, we have this concept of the corpus callosum, the right and left hemisphere having this thing that needs to talk. Your right and left body also need to be symmetrical and coherent for your bioelectricity not to be crimped, not to have places where it doesn't flow and ways that it has to invent new ways to go. And so many of us are very much out of kilter. There's always and it happens year after year after year, one minor injury. But the thing is because it's minor and you're not really paying attention, other parts of your body adjust take over for the injured part. And then you're not paying attention. It was just a minor thing. The injured part gets better, but you never stop that new movement pattern. Yeah, I could hear this one creaking. I'm certain you won't have the fidelity in this, nothing but the basic MacBook Air speaker. Although the Android speaker sometimes picks up the craziest little tiny little thingies. Oh, such a tangled technological web we're all enslaved to. Except for homeless people and poor people, incarcerated people. People in the so-called third world. We got the words and the phrases and the dicing and slicing people up. Oh. Y'all really, all y'all humanity are ignoring this right now. All I want to do is explain life-centric thinking. No, I could come up with, there's so many games I can play to demonstrate life-centric thinking. redefine chronic disease, redefine what the subconscious is, redefine where our memory bank is. Memory bank. Only riches you'll ever have are your memories, your lived experiences. That's your riches. And it's also what's standing between you and everything you want. To the extent that the environment isn't a hard stop. And the environment can be, toxicity, it can be emotional neglect, it can be lack of any money, it can be, there's my 3. You can extrapolate from that. Human bodies can only how to say this? The body's primary. We're all going around as though we can make up our mind and things occur. So there's this world out there that is what it is, right? I don't dispute the laws of, gravity and thermodynamics and stuff. It's stuff, and stuff has laws, and okay, cool. But thoughts and our bodies also have laws like that. You simply cannot go by 200 pounds. Nor should you be having a surgery. You shouldn't be. No, you shouldn't be. Again, you can just lie in bed. If you negotiate the calories correctly, you can just lie in bed. You don't need to be moving. You just need to use your brain and understand you get fat because you're so scared. Your body's like, we must be prepared for migration. And the more scared you get, and the more the intensity is, and the more the amplitude of all of the negative feedback that isn't stopped by belonging to a community, nurturing from loving people, having the ability to solve problems together, you end up being somebody who can't ever so big that they can find to their bed forever. That is an environmental civilizational problem. We cannot hold those individuals responsible, but we can now give them information that they can be accountable to simply altering certain dynamics of eating. And we're all focused on what? But it's a pyramid, like it always is. Any project manager, and now probably most people who've ever joined the internet and tried to do a job search. On time, on budget, fully featured. Triangle. Now 2, but not all 3. When it comes to powering your body through metabolism, what you eat is not necessarily that important. Calorie is a calorie to a body that is a hunter and gatherer, of which we now probably have about 33,000 scattered out amongst, Papua New Guinea, and I think the Amazon just all been co-opted. by now. What you eat is not as important when you're significantly over. I can't speak to like being 15, 30 pounds overweight. I've never been just that much, never. It's probably 15 pounds overweight. Two or three. TDQ. So when and how much, when you are carrying obesity level excess nutrition, the migration's over. Ready to say, I'm safe, I belong, I'm going to let go of this weight. You must fast, and you must use the science of fasting, not the diet guru's version of fasting. Everyone asks me, what's your schedule? First question. How ludicrous is it for me to sit here today and know what my body's going to ask for tomorrow? It's really ludicrous. My mind be like, okay, well, it's a Saturday, I want to have this and then that, and being fat, that's kind of what your mind does. You're always trying to, there's nothing else pleasurable in my personal experience. So I spend an inordinate amount of time getting pleasure from food and making sure I had the precise pleasurable food that I needed was far too much of my life. I earned a living. I thought about food. I slept. No wonder I was near death. No wonder the mold, I'm like, all right. But also, I wasn't all right. Because whatever changed the course of my life from like a, lean model, it happened really early in life. It was a childhood neglect type of trauma. Ooh, interesting, right? It's just the developmental lack means your brain doesn't know how to process things. And I had already started being a hermit from the multiple chemical sensitivity, because again, you become observant of that things when you don't really go out and you're introverted, and then you do, then you notice more. And so it's all coherent. I'm just so coherent. Explain everything about me. Back and forth from early days to reverse engineering and all these kinds of things. Looking to use these stories to share life-centric thinking, because trusting your own body is adapting to pandemic conditions. You get in your own body, you start trusting your own body, then you lose all of the overhead of you and your body arguing. Once your body's like, I can go, I'm in pain, can you attend to this? And you attend to it, the pain goes away. Once you have a craving and you attend to it, perhaps not in specifics. So again, your cravings, not our body trying to make us fat and ugly and unpopular and a hermit who dies alone. It's not what a craving is. A craving is our body sending us an image and a yearning for something that it needs to continue keeping you alive. Now, let's just say that's magnesium in a lot of different things, pretty crucial. Your body's going to send you this image, this yearning, this must-have taste sensation of things it knows is in the environment where you're currently habitating. And if it's the middle of the winter and you've been having junk food, it's going to ask for that. That's the strawberry patch you currently, can't buy. There's a field of yams ready to be harvested that you're currently always walking by on your way to spring water. Cravings are just your body going, and that's a real simplistic one. In some cases, your body is really not just going, I just need magnesium. Magnesium is a kind of a, because you're our leg cramps and everything. It also wants some manganese and some chromium and some. So your body's got this melange of micronutrients, and it needs X amount of calories and macronutrients. And your movement, your exercise demands are up or down or wherever they're going. And your body does the algorithm to go, yeah. Okay, you're having a Campbell's soup, but you're going to need to throw in some potato chips and some ice cream. This is just not hitting all the bases. But if you'd had, a ham and cheese sandwich alongside that chicken soup, your body might not have needed to, send out the bat signal for the potato chips and the ice cream. There's only an art to eating, not a science. As far as in the what. So many, we are being marketed to and bamboozled and experiencing a great deal of fraud in that way. I don't know. I've explained the whole. I'm not going to explain why fasting is more optimal than just constant, repetitive, same old caloric restriction. Do the Google. The math of life, 1 + 1 = 3, should give you some idea. Is evolution. Think about evolution. Why would evolution give us the chance to be fat and then not have an efficient pathway for losing the fat? Evolution, smarter than you are. Learned that recently there's an actual evolutionary biologist, Orgel's rules. I think evolution is cleverer than you are. Evolutionary logic is as clever as evolution. If you're the wise, feminine she Socrates, 2021. She Sherlock of deductive reasoning about human health. But not just as we think about it, anti-racism is job one. If you want to be healthy, if you want in any way, shape, or form to sustainably become optimally healthy, you need to become vibrantly anti-racist. You need to assert the humanity of all humans. I mean, because if you don't see all humans as humans, you're ignorant. And your ability to know what parts of biology are right, what parts of what your doctor says make sense or seem ludicrous. And you're not going to be anywhere near listening to your own body, because not everything is right for every person, not even aspirin, vitamin C, again, you have the data from the internet. Even water kill you. You can overdrink water. Most certainly can. In the scenario where you've been running 26.2 like 2 miles every day like Ms. Eddie Izzard. If you just go all watery, because you got to have the electrolytes. Too much water fritzes out your electric system. And in the time of pandemics, when one doesn't drive anywhere because one's dead broke and ain't nothing to buy, we worry that our trooper might be completely electronically compromisio. Hoping it's not. So much insurmountable. This is the point in the Shiro's journey where it's just like, it's unsolvable. My life is unfucking solvable. For me. But now for Ms. Eddie Izzard, give me a shot. Let me take the baton. You can't run a marathon every bloody day. But humanity, if we both think, I mean, I say 30, you say 80. Whenever the humanity is in trouble, somebody got to be doing this work. Hire me. Patron me, in all truth. But also, because I think we could have a lot of fun. And you know, you were talking today, you're going into politics, you know. I think that's you know, see, I'm a thinker, not a doer. So I don't really know how to enact all this. I mean, I'd like to see, like, get rid of so much of this legislation. We don't need any of it. We really, really, so much of it. I mean, it's so poisoned. And absolutely, some of us within the system, some of us without. But I'm about to be without consciousness. So I'm seeking to just become a true, original, one-woman improv performer. Just my job, and I love doing it for y'all. All right, and so we're coming into 90. And even get to the joke that made me wake up from my meditation go, let's just turn on the recording. This is the klaxon of the garbage truck explaining epigenetics. Just put a time date stamp on that. Upcoming performances. You want to learn about epigenetics. I mean, talked about it everything I talked about was epigenetics. The environment is epigenetics. Epigenetics. See, that's where I went off because, Eddie, some of us, go into parliament and into politics. But I'm about the health. And the best way to change health is to have you help me become the flamboyant performer who shows what my 50s are like. It's going to be the best decade after living morbidly obese for my whole life. This demonstrating and then being a really good theorist of how humans work. But not wanting to sell it, not wanting to like make it like, well, and then buy this program of mine and do, because it's not one size fits all. That never fit my body, and it doesn't fit anyone else's body. Not just clothes, diets even more so than clothes. So that is profundity in a nutshell. We're all unique because of our life experiences, and we're all precisely the same as creatures who exist as the pinnacle of evolution so far to create en masse, each of us in our own way, the evolution of consciousness. Bodies evolve over very long time frames, but thoughts evolve moment by moment by moment. Spontaneous remission, placebo effect, the joy of laughter, dancing, sex, of reproducing. 1 + 1 = 3. 1 man + 1 woman equals a third baby. That's the math of life, and that is the math that we use when we consult evolutionary logic, which never wants to see a study. It looks at the printout of the receipts of humanity, and it draws really astute, valid conclusions. Valid conclusions for things that we haven't invented the tools yet to measure. Science is a blend of math and philosophy. The hypothesis part is creativity. Philosophical hypotheses about human potential and human health. #wellbeing philosophy. This is what all of the life-centric thinking points to. Using these principles, you can think about anything and think about it much more clearly. Going, well, how did it work for somebody in Africa? How does it work today? How did it work 50 years ago? How did it work a few thousand years ago? You look at it from all these dimensions, you get a much more clear, robust picture, and you can answer a lot more questions a lot more intelligently. It's been Deb Helfrich. Hope you've enjoyed this one-woman improv.